You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome in, everybody, to Sim Racing Media this morning here. Well, where I'm at, it's morning. You could be early afternoon, but the Racers Elite Next Gen Series is going to be running a special event here at Talladega, 500 miles, 188 laps. So let's see what we can look forward to. Last night we were treated to a little bit of a preview when they had the truck race here in their Super Speedway Series. 3 drivers separated by less than a car length, almost 4 there. So we'll see what happens today. I am Mike Timoni up in the booth, joined with me, as was last night, Matthew. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I'm hoping that our race here today doesn't disappoint. We have another exciting finish that we had last night with a lot more with a lot more cars out. I'm thinking we're going to have, a lot of bigger runs. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, definitely looks like that. It's got all the makings of a dynamite race here. It looks like we have about half the cars in the field have been able to put down a qualifying lap. Right now, Sean Boundy up there with the 53.21.
Of course, one of our stronger cars from last night, Brian LaPratt, he's sitting P2 with the 53.324.
San Filippo there winning a 53.25. Kevin West in the 01 finished his second lap with the 53.25 as well. So thousandth of a second. '76 Ford of Greg McConey. Usually don't hear 76 when you talk about McConey, as his number, of course, is the 12. P4 right now, 53.31. Kirby Wayne Scott keeping that KFC theme going on all of his vehicles.
Great. Now I'm hungry. I'm gonna bang in a 53.310.
Rowan Lloyd with the 53.29. See who else is out on track. Looks like come back to Brandon Honeycutt, one of the drivers from last night. 4 that were able to try and go for the win. He wound up on the short end of the stick, bringing home P4, but was still within shouting distance of the leaders.
He was there at the end, and that's what really mattered.
He's gonna cross the start finish line. He starts his first hot lap.
Honeycutt bangs in his first lap at a 53.452 right now, 23rd quick.
Yeah, it's not gonna have not gonna have a chance to finish his second lap as time is running out. Michael Prince and Andrew Teft both also did not get a qualifying lap put in. It looks like we had 25 drivers here.
Looks like we only have one Teft in the field tonight. That's different.
Alex probably had to work or something. They hop over into the race session, get ready to grid up for this 500-mile event. Like I said, 188 laps, unlimited tires. Should be 100% fuel load, if I'm not mistaken. So 35 to 40 laps, depending on the run. Let's go through the field. We got Sean Boundy, Darrell Young Jr. on the front row. This way. Guys are taking their time getting into their car. Jason Burdick and Kevin West in row 2. Row 3, Brandon Sanfilippo and Brantley Roden. Jordan Byers and Rowan Lloyd in row 4. Row 5 is going to be Greg McConey and Kirby Wayne Scott. Brian LaPratte, blacked out number 6 this time. Steve Tucker just to his outside. We have Eric Dodd and Jesse Fox in row 7. Row 8, Nash Pointer and Roger Diebold. Justin Richter and Truth Hoke, 17th and 18th. Row 10, Patrick Swisshelm and William Skinner. Richard Ode and Joey Smith in row 11. Row 12, Brennan Honeycutt and Andrew Teft. And we'll see if Michael Prince, yep, looks like he will get in his ride. So didn't get a qualifying run, but it is Talladega, so it doesn't really matter where you start.
You may actually be a little bit safer starting in the back, figuring we have 188 laps and only one quick repair.
Yeah, that one fast repair is definitely going to come into play. We kind of saw it happen last night. We had several drivers that got involved in a few issues. Some of them elected to just get it fixed as they were going and save that quick repair for the end or later stages of the race, which seemed to be the right call. Did see a lot of side-by-side racing last night. Took them quite a while to get single filed out. I imagine we're going to see the same thing here today as these guys are in the next gens, able to probably hold it a little bit steadier than they were in the trucks last night, but we'll see what happens as they head down the backstretch. Field of 25 drivers ready to roll.
We only went to lap 50 running side by side in a 94 lap race.
Yeah, it was pretty funny the way that worked. Then it was single file towards the end when we had to have that late race pit stop there. So we'll see if pit strategy is going to play a part here. We're also going to see who can avoid the big one that seems to happen here at Dega.
And just because you avoid it doesn't mean the car behind you will avoid it. It may just drag you right into it. So that's going to be the one thing to watch as well.
Yeah, we saw it last night. Definitely about who you can trust and who can be your dancing partner here as they get set to go. Pace car is off. They get ready to roll. Sean Boundy on the pole, waiting for that green flag to come out. Last night we saw a guy jump the start and get a black flag, come back to win. We'll see what happens here as they are down and ready to roll. And we are racing for 500 miles at Dega.
That outside line's already forming up. They're going to get ready to make a push on them.
Yeah, that outside line looked like the leader there in the 71, Darrell Young, kind of drugged the brake just a little bit to get that 01 hooked up to him. And they are making that outside line work. We'll see if they're going to stay out there, if they're going to try and jump down to the bottom as that outside line is moving quickly here.
34 slid up from the bottom lane into the second groove here.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of lost all momentum down on that bottom side, saw the top line get rolling, and we're 3 wide just behind him. McConey, Wayne Scott. Looks like Burdick down there as well. 3 wide towards the lead. 18 of Jordan Byers there. Stuck in the middle, going backwards. Nobody with him as the inside line tries to avoid.
With Jordan not having any help, I think we're going to see remnants of last night. You know, drivers don't forget about how the previous race went. We hold grudges. I wonder if that's going to come into a factor.
That doesn't look like he's racing around anyone there as he jumps back into line towards the back of the top groove here. Well, that top line is moving pretty quickly. Brantley Roden up 5 spots already early in this race.
Roden has a little bit of a gap here. So we watch the line slowly catch back up to him. As he makes a move to.
I'm saying it looks like that inside line's starting to form up just a little bit. You see a little connection issue there. But it looks like Bounty's going to try and go to the middle.
I was expecting Roden to drop all the way down to that bottom line. He faked like he was going to, and then he pulled back up to the highest side.
Now, we didn't see this too much last night with the trucks, as that second line usually tried to stay right between those white lines, but this outside line is clear up almost into the wall as they are making their way around the track, headed down the backstretch now.
I believe the trucks last night were only hitting roughly 170, maybe 180, and we're already seeing speeds up to 198 down the backstretch here on the high side.
Sean Bounty goes to the middle, see if McConey's going to follow him as the drivers up in front, Darrell Young and Roden, slide down in front to block a little bit.
That inside line is starting to really form up and make some ground on that outside line.
As they just start to go back again as they get a little bit out of shape. Kirby Wainscott into the outside wall, bounces down, going to slow down that whole outside line. As he tries to get it in, and they are able to save it, but Kirby Wainscott.
That was big. Big time save. Everybody, heads up driving and saved everybody from a big pileup.
Yeah, Kirby Wainscott elects to go high, stay out of the way, going to fade back to the back here as Roger Diebold was in almost the worst position possible as he was a couple cars back behind Wainscott as Wainscott hit that wall, but he has got back in line, and he's trying to push up there with Jason Burdick in the 23 as McConey slides up once again.
I'd have to say that Hamburglar scheme is probably one of my favorites in the field tonight.
He jumps up right in front of Roger Diebold. And Steve Tucker, it looks like.
So our biggest mover of the race currently is running in the 8th position of Roger Diebold, +8.
Yeah, he was slowly making his way up through the field, and then was able to avoid calamity there with Wainscott getting to that outside wall. Took advantage, got up a couple spots, and now he's looking for a little bit more as Jason Burdick goes from the high side to the middle lane, gets behind Sean Bounty, and then elects not to stay there as Bounty goes up 3 wide and leaves Burdick in the middle.
That's a tough position to be in for Jason Burdick, as he's able to fall back into line here and hopefully try to regain some of the ground that he just lost.
Yeah, it looked like everybody was trying to go with him, and then all of a sudden, everybody just avoided him as he got a little bit loose, it looked like maybe.
But to have a guy like Brian LaPrant right behind you to push you, that's a pretty solid working partner right there.
Yeah, it looked like it, and now we have the Brandons hooked back up. Brandon Sanfilippo and Brandon Honeycutt. They were strong last night in the trucks. We'll see what they can do here as they are stuck in the middle as that outside line is just running away with the race at the moment. Like we might be single file here faster than we were last night.
We're working on lap 8 coming to lap 9. Roden still leads Darrell Young and Kevin West, with McConey sitting outside looking in.
Happening back here towards the back. We got Sanfilippo, Honeycutt, and Kirby Wainscott hooked up on the bottom side, not really going anywhere, but just hanging out here for now. They're going to try and slide up and stay with that high line, or hope this bottom line starts to work a little bit better than it has been.
You know, Honeycutt's not sitting in a bad spot, even though sitting down on that bottom as he slowly works his way up to the high side here. I mean, they have somebody like Kirby Wainscott, who ran really good last night, and Andrew Tuff back then there, who I believe finished in 5th. Last night I would have to go back and look, but those guys are they're very solid.
I'm not sure what happened with Teft and Prince and Smith there, but they have lost the lead pack. They're closing a little bit, but they're still 5.5 seconds back from the second little group here of the 714 Patrick Swisshelm.
It's a safe place to be as long as they don't go a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, we're 10 laps into 188. There's plenty of time to get back up to the front. So Brantley Rodden, Daryl Young, they've been hooked up since the start of the race. This is probably the most gap we've seen between them, as Young was all over the rear bumper there of that 73 Chevy.
Looked like McConey was testing the waters to see if anybody behind would go with him, as he thinks better of it and continues to ride single file.
Yeah, McConey does have a driver he runs quite a lot of races with, a couple places back in Roger Peebold, so we'll see if he's going to kind of wait and see if Roger's going to catch up, and maybe those two work together to go towards the front. Pole setter Sean Boundy back there in 5th.
Speaking of Diebold, he's actually right behind Boundy in the 6th position.
Looks like everybody kind of single filed out now.
There's no real concern for any overheating at this stage of the race.
Everybody's just trying to log some laps, get closer to the end here.
So we just seen here a minute ago, Roland Lloyd in the 61 machine grazed the wall.
I'm kind of bouncing around, trying to stay in line, but it's not quite as easy as you would think it would be here. LaPratt ran pretty well last night as well. He was up towards the front, kind of got in a bad predicament. Cost him time on pit lane. Had to come down late in the race and basically caused his race to be over. But for the most part, he was running up front and pushing the majority of the leaders there. So he's definitely a car to watch out for here.
So our main pack is 1 through 19. Then we've got our second pack, which is 3 cars, and then our last 3 cars are about 10 seconds off the leaders.
Yeah, as long as they stay, that 10, 12 second mark, it's not that big a deal for now. Figure everybody's going to have to come down and 25 laps or so anyway for make their pit stop. So it's going to shake up the field a little bit as well anyway, but you're kind of in a safe spot. You got plenty of time to take evasive action if something does happen in the lead pack. You can avoid it and make your way down pit road after that. But
You know, when it comes to pitting here at Talladega, if I'm sitting at the back end of this first lead pack, I may consider trying to short pit. Just, you reduce your chances of being involved in an accident trying to slow down for pit road.
Yeah, as long as you have somebody that'll come with you, get a couple cars that are on this thinking the same thing. You come down, you make your pit stop, less cars there. Don't have to worry about really racing off of pit lane. And you take advantage of maybe a little bit better strategy too, depending on how this race unfolds here.
You know, and the catch-22 is that Barney, our lovely flag man, he's flagging this race, you know, and whatever he says goes. So if you're off the racing surface, most chances are is we're going to stay green. So pit stops and trying to find your dancing partner for your pit stops is going to be a very big deal to get in clean on and off.
And we'll see how close the 71 Toyota is to the back of the 73 Chevy. A little bump there as they cross the start-finish line. Kevin West running P3 up one spot. This is one of the weird Sundays of the NASCAR season, as they're on a couple-week break from racing with the Olympics being on. This is probably the only NASCAR action you're going to see here today.
We just had our first taker for pit road, and that'd be Eric Dodd in the 16 machine. He went in solo.
Had to have been. They had to have been an issue or something. I don't believe you'd want to come in with 20 laps or so left in this fuel run.
His pit time was 15.55 in his box. So it looks like just fuel and go. So if you guys have a favorite for the win for tonight's race, drop a comment. Let us know who you're rooting for.
Greg McConey pulls out. He's had enough waiting as he's going to try and get by Kevin West here. If anybody goes with him, and it looks like he's pretty much on his own, so he'll have to fall back into line. He peeked out, had a little bit of a run, but nobody went with him, and just behind him looks like Jason Burdick pulled out, and he is going backwards in a hurry, as is Brian LaPratte.
They may be prepping for that fuel stop here.
Two of Nash Pointer was thinking about sliding down in front of the 6, just didn't have anything for him. Jesse Fox, the 69 machine, up there as well. Still fading back the wrong way. Bobby Cameron in the chat once again. Turn on the 6 of LaPratte. I thought we'd see Billy in here tonight, but looks like he took his win and maybe celebrated a little too hard, as he's not in here this time.
Can you really blame him though?
No, I think if I had had that luck last night, I don't know that I would try it again. I mean, the first part of the race, he had some awful luck. Black flags, involved in a couple wrecks. And then somehow he manages to come back, be one of the 4 cars that are able to battle for the win and go from basically 4th to winning the race in the last half a lap.
If he had the luck he had last night at the end of the race, though,
Yeah,
I mean, if you finish in the top 5, you're making money here tonight. That's going to be the big thing towards the end there is, you know, seeing who's going to be actually in that top 5.
got a San Filippo fan in the chat as well. Usually see them come out every week, as Brendan is one of the regular drivers of the Racers Elite series they run.
He was in position for a really good finish last night until he spun coming off of pit road. Kind of put an end to his night.
Yeah, it looked like he had was basically going to get a penalty for exiting or unsafe pit exit, and then came back, but still had a decent run from where he was at as the teammate behind him and Brandon Honeycutt. We'll see what they can do, if they can start working together a little bit here. Justin Rector in the 03 machine, up a spot, running 16th now. Kirby Wainscott has backed out a little bit after touching the wall. He's running 17th. Jason Burdick back there as well, running all alone at the moment. Looks like Ryan LaPratt also back there. Not sure what happened to those drivers, as they've fallen off the pace, lost that draft, and haven't been able to get back up. Nothing really to worry about at the moment. Even this third group is going to catch them about almost 10 seconds back, but they're only 20 seconds off the leader, so they're in no danger of going a lap down at the moment. The only driver that is a lap down is Eric Dodd, and it looks like he might go 2 laps down as soon as this lead group catches him.
However, when people do hit pit road, then he should get one of those laps back, and then he's preying on a caution.
And that 71 is all over the rear bumper there of the 73 as they are pushing it. Sub 50-second lap times now. Dodd's going to stay low, allow the drivers to go on the high side.
See if he can actually touch the draft here once the main pack passes him.
Let's see if he's going to be able to jump in line behind Wayne Scott.
There's roughly a 12-mile-an-hour difference between that outside and Dodd.
Doesn't look like he moved up fast enough, so he might lose the draft as well. And Jason Burdick and Will Pratt are kind of stuck in the middle, waiting for the second group to come through. And they're gonna just roll on by here. If they're gonna be able to jump down in line. Ryan tries to pull down and get hooked up, but going to be close to see if he can hang on there of the back of the 18 machine and Jordan Byers.
Looks like he's actually found his dancing partners and is actually trying to stick with them, save a little bit of fuel.
Let's go back towards the front here, see if anything's developing, and doesn't look like anything's really changed so far. Young and Rodden just hooked up nose to tail and not looking back at the moment.
Their top 10 has been very consistent. They're not really looking to gain anything. They're just riding and knocking off laps.
I didn't really see anybody even try and make a run. I mean, McConey did for a little bit, but after nobody went with him, got back in line, and they're just clicking off the laps. I mean, for 30 laps in, we've got over 150 left to go, so no big hurry here for the drivers as they're just trying to click off those laps, get closer to the end before they decide to figure out what strategy is going to help them win the race here tonight.
So these guys are starting to talk to each other about, when do we pit? Trying to figure out that strategy as we start lap 30.
Yeah, when we were looking for the fuel mileage, it was somewhere around 35, 40 laps, depending on, where you run. And if you're leading the race, it's going to be a lot sooner than later. Whereas if you're late, further back in the pack, you're probably saving quite a bit of fuel here. So you might be able to run a couple more laps. So we'll see where these guys elect to make that pit stop. If you guys like what you're seeing or want to join, these guys do have a super speedway series that just started last night, as a matter of fact. We got different vehicles all season and different super speedways as well. Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega, Iracing super speedway. They go anywhere from the trucks to the 87s, next gens, Gen 4, so a lot of different vehicles, just super speedway racing.
71, a young junior, is in trouble. His hood's up. I mean, he kept it straight.
He's still driving. I don't know how. Let's see if we can see what's happening here. See if I can take a look. That's good. Oh.
Whoa.
we'll go here. So 71's all over the back bumper. Everything looks fine. Then all of a sudden, it's like he slammed on the brakes. It's some sort of glitch that just happened.
I'm blown away. I've never seen anything like that.
That is insane. All right, back live.
So he did hit pit road. Looks like he took his quick repair.
Yeah, it looked like he was pushing just fine, and then all of a sudden, it's like he basically locked the brakes. But what that did do is McConey, Diebold, and Run here are separated from the rest of the field by over 2.5 seconds, as they are side by side back here, racing to figure out what in the world's going on after calamity basically happened.
We may have had an issue with Patrick Swisshelm.
Looks like, yeah, it looks like Swisshelm went too. I mean, it is pretty close to that pit window we were talking about, so.
Verdict's in pit road.
Looks like Burdick jumped to pit lane.
I'm just hearing now that Burdick was backwards on the track.
Well, these guys have kind of settled down. Let's see if we can take a look, see what happened to Burdick real quick. Oh. Like he just... See what happened. Oh, he got turned.
Oh, it sounds like it maybe blew that motor.
Looks like he got turned by Eric Dodd. Oh, nope, that was Patrick Swisshelm.
You know, this is what I was kind of referring to earlier in this race when we're talking about Barney. You know, he's staring at Burdick, who's out of the racing groove, and they just let him push the car back to pit road. So we're still green here on lap 37.
Everybody trying to figure out what happened there. As everybody takes evasive action for some reason. They went from bottom top and fanned out and lost a little bit of time as the leaders are still pulling away.
They may have been trying to break a draft. Get somebody out of line that they didn't want up there, maybe. We do have pit stops underway.
I'll say we knew they were coming. McConey and Diebold hooked up here and driving.
And Rector's got 3 laps of fuel left, so these guys are gonna be bouncing in here really quickly. I believe Teft is gonna be hitting pit road this time. So we just watched Rodin dip off.
Yeah, he was leading most of the race, so we knew he was going to be a little short on fuel. McConey, Diebold working well together here. And Darrell Young back up with the leaders. He is a lap down, but so he should be able to inherit the lead, but he will be by himself.
The second pack is quickly catching them.
Yeah, it looks like they might have backed up just a little bit, trying to save a little bit of fuel, as they're only going 84, 85 versus the almost 200 they were going earlier.
It looks like Young in the 71 is in a good position here. Obviously had his hood flap earlier on lap 32. He managed to still get down to pit road and caught this draft again. So he'll cycle back out to being on the lead lap.
And behind him, it looks like drivers are trying to decide when they're going to pit. Because it looks like Wayne Scott goes down to the bottom, trying to... Looked like he was going to try and make the pit run by himself, but everybody else joined right in line. So we'll see if everybody's coming down, or if... Yeah. Like everybody's going to come down. Hard on the brakes. And this is exactly what you were talking about when you said, come down a little early, short pit. You avoid all of this.
Yeah, that could have gone really bad really quick. I mean, I hit from behind, and now all of a sudden you're getting a black for going too fast entering. That's your top 12 cars are currently sitting in pit road. Looks like fuel only for everybody.
Kevin West is the first car that has pitted out on track. He's probably going to be able to get by most of the field here, as they are just exiting pit lane.
So the good news is that everybody that just hit pit road managed to get on and off of pit road without any penalties.
Looks like the leader swapped here, as Diebold made a little bit faster pit stop than McConey.
Just a half second, but it made all the difference.
Just enough to get out in front. And now we got Diebold, McConey, and Boundy all together.
So Young is back on the lead lap, running in the 12th position. So you see our group's broken up all over the place.
Yeah, if Brandon Sanfilippo can get caught up with the 71 and 73, that is going to be a good pack to try and run down this lead group here.
If I'm in the top 3 right now, I'd be considering backing it down just a tad to let, to get a bigger pack together so you can try to go and lap the field.
Yeah, I mean, you got Brandon Honeycutt, Richard Ode out here, Steve Tucker, Kirby Wainscott. As they go by the lap car there. I thought that was Joey Smith. Allen checking in from Chicago today. He definitely had fun at the Prairie Dirt Classic last night.
No, it was Pierce that won that last night, if I remember right, correct?
Oh, that is what he was saying. He said they started like 24th and just came flying through the field.
That man's always had one heck of a drive at that track. He has Fairbury knocked, The dirt world's been an interesting one this season with, Ryan, or with Thornton changing out his rides, and he still managed to come back and win a couple nights ago, to now obviously Pierce, who blew up the other night and then came back to win last night. So these guys are getting in their redemption. But back to our race here. Diebold, McConey, and Bounty are your top three.
Yeah, and they don't really have any pressure at the moment because the group behind them was catching them, but they keep bouncing all over the place. They have that accordion or slinky type effect. Once one starts moving, they all start kind of bouncing up and down the racetrack, not really going anywhere.
The second pack here made up about a half a second on them in the last couple laps.
Looks like we only have had one driver elect to retire. That's Swiss Helm.
Everybody else is currently still in, well, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We have 21 cars in the lead lap at this point. So we've got 4 packs. Maybe 5.
Yeah.
Our biggest pack is going to be 14th through 20th.
And it looks like they're hooked up pretty well here. Going a couple miles an hour faster than the leaders when they are hooked together, so we'll see how that works out. Brian LaPratt was pretty quick last night, and now he's found himself in the right position here. Andrew Teft worked with him a little bit last night, so we'll see if they can work together some more.
They're still sitting almost 19 seconds out from the leader. But as long as these guys are working together, we're under a green flag. They're sitting pretty. If we hit another pit cycle under green, this will be the pack to watch.
Everybody's kind of spread out a little bit. Let's check in on the second group here. We're about a second and a half back of the third place car of Sean Bounty, Honeycutt, Ode, Tucker, Wayne Scott.
I know this pack backed off a little bit. Ode was overheating. So he stepped out just to cool his nose off.
Yeah, that's one of the things you have to watch for too, is, if you're working together in a 4-car group, sometimes it's easier to let the lead car pull out and then kind of float to the back of your line, and then just everybody kind of cycle up. Kind of keeps everybody's engine running smooth and not overheating, whereas now you have the 78 taking the majority of the heat into that car.
And not to forget now about, fuel economy. If everybody's near, when they rotate in and out, then they'll all have about the same amount of fuel when they go to pit. They're starting to close that gap on the top 3, though. We're down to 1.1.
Yeah, as long as they can stay lined up fairly well, they should be able to do that, as it looks like everybody's kind of pulling their nose out, trying to get some air as far as McConey and Bounty go, because they've been running fairly hard here and pretty well lined up for most of this last fuel run here.
Honeycutt should just be in their draft now. He's 7/10 back in closing. Yep, he's there.
Yeah, this should close up pretty quickly here if they can stay in line as Diebold goes to the high side, try and maybe break the draft just a little bit, maybe run them where they're a little bit uncomfortable. Honeycutt is there, and he is to the back bumper. See if they stay in line or if they pull down, try and make the pass on this lead group.
Now this gives Ode that chance to cool his car down after those couple laps of hard pushing.
Back and take a look, see where the next group is. '73, '71 are working pretty hard together here. They were the leaders up until Darrell Young in that '71 lost his hood.
Brantley there in the number 73 just turned a 49.29. So they're the fast. That pack right there was the fastest cars on the track by almost a second.
Yeah, you got Darrell Young, Kevin West. Looks like Lloyd, Sanfilippo, and William Skinner in that 5 machine. And then you got 12 seconds back to this next pack of Brian LaPratt, Rector, Andrew Teff, Jesse Fox, Michael Prince. Going to be the tail end here, it looks like. Got some connection issues. But with that being said, we're going to step aside for a moment. Won't miss anything as we go side by side, and we'll be right back after this. All right, everybody, welcome back. While we were away, the packs got tight, and they are going to race it out here. Looks like might have a battle for the lead here.
Battle? What battle? As we just watched Tucker take the lead and walk away. Tucker's not here to play. And it's good to see the 71 of Daryl Young Jr. back up into the top 3 after losing his hood earlier in the race.
Yeah, that 71 was a pushing machine, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody slammed on his brakes and locked him up, and that hood just came popping up, and he went a lap down, went through pit cycles, and now look at this. He's back up inside the top 3.
Kirby Wainscott may have had an issue here as he starts to drop. He's now 4 seconds behind. He was in that lead pack.
It looks like we're seeing a lot of bouncing around inside, outside. Fastest lap of the race, though, is Kevin West in that 01, a 48.85.
That's boot scooting boogieing right there.
Ooh, D-Bold stuck in a spot he didn't want to be in. 71 machine still to his outside. Has McConey with him. Kevin West slides up. Side by side they go, and Greg McConey gets spun.
Into pit road. One heck of a save. I don't think he hit anything.
I don't think he hit anything, but he's going to get a hold for unsafe pit entry there as we stay green, but that is Rowan Lloyd just spun that 76.
And word from race control, his blank will be cleared.
Yeah, there was nothing he could do as he got spun, headed down, and turned right into pit lane. We'll take a look at it as these guys have shuffled back through. But let's take a look here, see what happened to McConey here. Let's go. Get a better
So we
view.
see McConey in the second lane here.
There we go. McConey and D-Bold. Kevin West goes up, and then all of a sudden,
Looks like the 12 is just trying to follow the lead of the 61 of
Yes.
Lloyd.
a 61 went up there and got right next to D-Bold. And I don't know that Dan Filippo knew he was there. But once again, that spreads us out.
You go from doing 195, to 200, getting spun around and not touching anything, and keeping that splitter out of the dirt. That's big. Our biggest mover of the race so far is Brendan Honeycutt, who's riding P6. He's currently up 17.
Yeah, Honeycutt definitely did not get the qualifying lap he wanted, as he was only able to get one go at it. Looks like Roger Diebold's down on the bottom. If anybody comes down with him, Bounty and Honeycutt do.
So these guys are going to start thinking about pit stops here again soon, with the first car pitting back on lap 33 of Burdick, to seeing, actually Young pitted on lap 32.
Yeah, Young had that issue with his hood, so he's going to have to come down before everybody else. We'll see where he winds up.
We may see him in the next 5 laps. Well, actually, yeah. Then everybody else last pitted between 38 and 40.
They got skinny there as they had the lap car up on the wall and 2 down below. Truth Hoke and Greg McConey. And both of them go a lap down. Oh, that isn't McConey. I thought that was McConey. Same type of color.
Was that Wayne Scott then in the 10? The KFC
Oh,
car, or was that
Truth
Joey
Hoke.
Smith?
Truth Hope down hard into the wall.
Trying to lock it down to get to pit road, and he's out of the racing surface, so we're going to stay at green. But he'll be serving a black flag.
It doesn't look like anybody really touched Truth, but he got loose, went from the outside wall clear down to the inside, was able to save it, but was going slow enough he decided just to take it down pit lane, see if he could get some repairs on it and get rolling once again.
So sitting on lap 65, we have been green this entire time. Oh, I just said it.
Don't do that. No. These guys have been
What was I
driving.
thinking?
These guys have been driving amazing. I mean, McConey was able to save it instead of coming back up on the track. Then you just had Truth Hope go from a high side clear down to the inside wall and keep rolling forward, so that didn't bring out the caution. And another driver who had an issue was able to pull it off and get off the racing surface before he jumped to the pits. I mean, there's been issues here and there, but everybody's been really good about getting out of the way and not bringing out that caution.
They've been very minor. You know, as we look at, we have 2 different main packs. Yeah, 1st through 10th, and then 11th through 19th, roughly.
Close. Got this 2-car tandem here kind of in the middle of the field.
You know what? I must have seen a lapper. My bad.
Yeah, Skinner and Ode are hooked together here. Like they're going to try and get maybe... Maybe a lapper there. And then you got Brian LaPratte leading this... Really the next group here. They're about 11 seconds back from that 2-car tandem. And McConey's basically by himself here. He's still on the lead lap for the moment, but he's going to get past here in a hurry.
You know, and McConey didn't pit. You know, granted, he spun through the pits, had everything cleared, but he continued to drive through the pits just to, you know, try to save track position as we watched him go lap down. But he is in line now, so that's pretty good for him.
Yeah, he's going to be, he's sitting in a pretty good spot here. Working with Roger Diebold once again. So we'll see if he can manage to maintain this position. He is one of the only drivers on track that probably would love to see the flagmen get involved here.
You know, and really McConey's racing Joey Smith and Burdick. Well, I'm sorry, he's just racing, yeah, Joey Smith and Burdick for that lucky dog position.
Looks like we got connection issue back in this other Packer. Looks like the 2 having a little bit of an issue. He'll go high, go to the back of the field, try and avoid calamity. Not that we had calamity from a blinking car last night or anything.
No. Blinking car? What car?
Kind of the way it worked, right?
Until he was facing the wrong way and getting smoked. Looks like McConey's pushing to try to get back on the lead lap right now and lead this pack.
Yeah, Roger Diebold behind him. Like they were going to try and make it work, but not quite enough momentum there.
If I'm Tucker, I would think about letting McConey punch through that air and try to save a little bit on my fuel. So watch Diebold try to push McConey around.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. McConey's trying to help Diebold, trying to help himself get back on the lead lap.
That's a solid outside line. Yeah, Diebold, Boundy, Honeycutt up there in the 13th, and then Burdick trailing behind.
Definitely have some good drivers there as they're going to come up on Truth Hoke. Hopefully they catch him in the backstretch and not in one of the corners, as 3 wide is not ideal, but it's possible.
See when McConey makes that drop to the bottom here, or if he's going to wait for Honeycutt to try to clear.
71 going to be coming down pit lane.
71's going to have help with the 1 car of Tucker also going to be hitting pit road here.
Yeah, it almost has to kind of be that way, as the 1 was, punching the hole in the air. And I'm going to assume we're going to see McConey stay out, try and get a little bit. Well, never mind. Say try and stay out and stay in that lucky dog position. I mean, he's still in the lucky dog position. He's got almost 2 laps, so could be good.
Tucker, Young, and Roden are all exiting pit road now all together.
Yeah, these 3 are going to be tough if they stay together the way they've been running.
No penalties, so they're good.
Whoa. Truth Hoke had a massive run and almost ran over this line here.
As we watch the lead pack make their way around the 22 machine of Joey Smith. Diebold, Bounty, and Honeycutt last pitted on lap 40, so they should be coming in here in the next few.
Yeah, and if they do 40 at a time, that means we're going to have another one of those special money stops.
Or if they can maybe save enough. Looks like Burdick is going to be the only car dropping the pit road.
There's quite a few lap cars mixed in here. You have Truth Hoke back there, like Joey Smith,
McConaughey.
yeah. Like,
So your top 5 right now is going to be Diebold in first, Bounty second, Honeycutt third, West riding P4, and Lloyd in your 5th position, but they do still need a pit.
I think everybody's going to be coming in here in the next 3 or so. Well, the way this race has been going, pit strategy could play a huge part in it. As if they stay on the same strategy, everybody pitting every 40 laps, there's going to be about 18 left. A little over 18 left, depending on where they make it.
So we have LaPrat and Fox both in the pits together. Looks like they're clean in and off.
Sounds like that second group's going to come in this next time. These guys are all staying out. Yeah, they're all staying out for now. I think they're going to make it to 80.
So let's take a look at how the second group does getting onto pit road with Taft.
Teff has an early pit, so he was trying to stay to the left as much as he could.
But as we watch our lead pack hit pit road, they're starting to bump each other up. Honeycutt manages to barely safely get into his pits with just a little bit of help. So we watch the left side of Roger Diebold go up. So it looks like he's going to be a 4-tire stop as he has enough time with getting 2 cans of fuel. See how they cycle out here. Diebold's going to lead them off of pit road.
See how they come down here. It looks like the 3-car trio is going to have a little bit more momentum. We'll see if they're going to be able to get by and before Diebold gets up to speed here.
Now they're sliding up to try to catch that draft here as the 73 of Rodin is going to lead them back here to the start-finish line to start lap 81.
Yeah, McConey staying in that lucky dog position for now. And there's no real advantage for McConey to break strategy at the moment.
As long as he keeps his nose clean, you know, he's sitting in a good position. But when we get to the point of starting to lap other cars, then McConey's going to have to step on it and make sure he stays in front of them.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and do something different, try and make some sort of moves here. But for now, he's in a pretty good spot.
So as we have 81 laps down in the books, we still have 24 cars out on the track and only one that's done for the night.
Checking to see what was going on in the back. Heard some chatter, but just trying to figure out what they can do to try and catch up to these guys. They are laps down, but we got a couple different packs. Got the top 6 with McConey at the tail end, and then the next pack about 6.5 seconds back.
So it looks like we have 2 main pit cycles here. We have a couple cars that pitted lap 72 and the rest are 78 or 79. So there's 7 lap difference between your top 3 and the rest of the field. And we have a yellow flag. Justin Rector may have benned it.
Well,
So we see Rector facing the wrong way there in turn 4.
let's see if we can have a good look here at what went down.
Yeah, he ended up breaking his left rear in that.
Oh, 62.
Oh yeah, he's stuck on that transition.
Looks like the 5 kind of got a little bump there, but the 62 tried to slide down behind the 03 and just spun him there.
So all the fuel strategy, all that went out the window. First caution, lap 83.
Ooh, San Filippo. I want this. See it break off in front of him.
Oh man. Now my question is, McConey stayed safe through all that, did he not?
He did.
So McConey is going to be our lucky dog then. He'll be getting his lap back here at the end of this pit cycle, or under this yellow.
Yeah, I should be getting the wave around any moment, and then getting back on the lead lap. There he goes.
Now you can get back to business.
Yeah, he still has to start, you know, towards the back, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal here.
No, we've watched him a couple of times go from the back up to the front, and I'm sure we'll see him back up there rather quickly. We see a couple of cars trying to stay out and get a lap back here as they're in front of the leader, who currently is the number 2 of Nash Hunter.
Please no.
I've already heard on the radio that he'll most likely give up the spot to Sean Bounty on the restart here. He's already asked for an EOL.
He's trying to figure out a way to get out of that spot.
There we go. Bounty's going to end up taking over the top spot. And hats off there, you know, to Nash. He's just trying to do the right thing. He doesn't want to get anybody else torn up, but he wants a chance to race and get into a money spot at the end of the race.
They will stack him up here. And even with that caution, it's going to still have a little bit of pit strategy, as there'll be what, about 100 laps left. And if we're only making 40 green flag, somebody's going to have to make a pit strategy call and see what can happen here.
For Joey Smith's night gets just a little bit more rough as he had to hit pit road and step out of the car for a moment, whether that may be a short little bathroom break or a bigger issue under the hood. We'll have to wait and see.
McConey making his pit stop after getting the lucky dog.
I think he may have just hopped back down to get a little bit of extra gas here, as we had a 5-second pit stop. So that's one can.
Yeah. So, Bounty back where he started the race on the pole, has the button. D-ball to his outside, Honeycutt right behind him. Pace car makes that left-hand turn down pit lane. We work our way through the Geico restart zone.
LaPrade sitting in 5th.
Wow. We're back green, but Bounty got a huge jump, and that's not something you want to hear when you're at a super speedway, as that outside line with Roger Diebold and the 01 of Kevin West are hooked up. They should be able to make it work here as Bounty jumps to the high side, trying to block a little bit here.
Bounty got really lucky in that, as neither line was really formed up. If those lines had formed, he'd have been towards the back already.
Yeah, he would have been stuck in that middle sucker hole there and going the wrong way in a hurry, but lucky for him, nobody was really there. Honeycutt slides up to the high side now.
So a name we haven't talked about tonight very much has been the 18 machine of Jordan Byers, who's now running in the top 5. This is, I believe, his first time up front tonight, and he's making a push. He looks to be a lot calmer than what he was last night, but he's up there as we're starting to go 3 wide.
3 wide in the middle, and they are pushing. 71 of Daryl Young and the 73 of Brantley Rodden. They were up front early and often here, and they are trying to get back up there. Brian LaPratte has fans in the YouTube chat trying to cheer him to victory here.
As we near the halfway point of this race, we're starting to see things get a little bit more dicey. You know, somebody's flipping that switch, getting the real race started.
Yeah, Honeycutt had a massive run there, and the one just slid up Tucker and blocked it, and trying to get that push to get that line going again, but Honeycutt almost was too fast there.
Starting to get really dicey up front as they're jockeying for position. So we watch things kind of start to settle down here, as we've got 2 lines either up against the wall or at the very bottom of the track.
Oh. I think everybody's trying to find a line they want to be in. But the 73 back to leading.
It's been a spot he has been most comfortable in all night long. Or I should say all afternoon.
Yeah, he's been leading and he's been pushed by Daryl Young Jr. So they definitely have found their dancing partners and see what they can do here. Tucker and Honeycutt in 3rd and 4th. Sean Boundy and Roger Diebold back here. See if we can check on and see where Greg McConey is. Greg McConey up to P11 now in that outside lane, just behind Richard Ode and Brandon Sanfilippo, right in front of Andrew Teft.
Young is a lot braver than I am. I don't know I'd be sitting behind the 73 after that earlier incident.
I don't know that I'd be pushing as hard as I was earlier after that little glitch happened there.
You know, they do say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Not sure how old Young is, but you know, racers, we just get it in our mind when we're going to do something.
Ruth Hoke leading that bottom lane, but he is a few laps down. He's got LaPratte and Byers behind him. And I was just looking. Jordan Byers must be his brother that was racing last night, Justin, in the 81.
Oh.
So, you know.
You know what? My apologies.
not like we call, 10 races a week or something.
You know, that would explain it. So
Yeah.
Jordan is a lot calmer than his brother. I was like, this is really a night and day difference we're seeing out of him. That would explain why. So not much has changed here. The 73 of Rodin is still leading. Young second, Tucker third. Honeycutt and Bounty round out your top 5. That inside line is starting to pick up just a little bit of momentum. As we see Burdick and Teff down there.
Everybody's trying to get someone to go somewhere. And whoa, almost went 4 wide there as Brian LaPrette slid up a little bit as Bounty was coming down too. Well, Truth Hoax starting the slinky effect there.
So we just hit the halfway mark. Bottom line is starting to pick up a couple more cars.
And Truth is leading that pretty well there, holding a relatively steady wheel, just not exactly where everybody else wants to go.
I can't tell if Bounty's trying to side draft a little bit, slow that inside line down, or if he was looking about trying to slide down into that bottom groove.
I don't know. It could be a little bit of both, trying to figure out if he has a way to get there, or if maybe because he knows Truth is a lap down, if he's going to try and get one of these other guys to jump up behind him, or if he can get them to jump out and he slide behind them, one of those, just stick your nose out there and see what's going to happen.
So currently, Jason Burdick in the 23 is you're sitting in your lucky dog position, the only car 1 lap down.
That looks like ooh. Truth gets a little loose, and it's gonna, I was gonna say, cause everybody to kind of check up a little bit. Andrew Teff goes to the middle. It looks like he's gonna have a little bit of help there from Jesse Fox, but he's able to get back down in front of Jason Burdick. But that could have been dicey for a while there, as we were 3 wide after Truth checked up just a little bit, causing LaPrette to do the same.
But we're back to 2 wide racing as quick as we were 3 wide.
And it's 3 wide. 4 wide if you count the 16 down on the apron there.
Earlier in the race, I looked at the track temperature and we were pushing like 115. That's fallen all the way down to 94 as it starts to cool off.
The air temperature is only 77 degrees, so yeah, it's getting a lot cooler.
But the racing on the track is just starting to heat up.
Andrew Teff jumped up to the high line, got tired of riding around on the bottom, saw the high line had an opening, jumped up there right behind Roger Diebold. He's going to try and see if he can make that line work a little bit better for himself.
I don't really see any damage on Hoke's car. He's just fighting it on that bottom line, just trying to pick up any momentum that they can get.
Yeah, I think Truth is a lot more comfortable driving closer to the wall, it seemed, especially last night in the trucks. He just seemed to be able to be one of the only drivers to make any ground up there. But as you see him head through the start finish line there, he got a little bit loose, a little wide, as Bounty is trying to side draft and maybe suck that line back just a little bit here.
And the benefit to that high side is that all the cars wash down the track, as we seen last night. you know, is even though you're trying to wall up for that crash, when that car slides back down that track, you've got nowhere to go when you're on the bottom lane.
Got nowhere to go is right. I don't know if that's helping or hurting every time that Bounty tries to go down and get a little bit closer to that inside line. Because the leaders are starting to pull away a little bit in that top four.
I mean, if Bounty can stay in that draft and still side draft a little bit, he's going to slow that inside lane down, and he'll be able to launch himself back out with that draft. So he's playing a very fine line game, but he also still has a lot of cars behind him that can help him make up for any mistakes.
Truth Hoax stuck in the middle as he got loose.
3 wide, 2 deep.
Andrew Teft in the middle now. Like Teft's going to be able to get down in front of Burdick once again.
Ooh, Jordan got a little bit loose when he clipped the apron there in the 18 machine.
The 18 machine bounced up and down the track trying to get it back under him, and it looks like he'll do just that. But it looks like Brian LaPratt thought about going up to the high side.
Yeah, he was expecting Jordan to lose a little bit more, but Jordan was able to recover quite nicely as they wait to reform this inside line.
Brian's starting to move towards the front. Looks like Andrew Teft is back behind Jordan.
$102 laps down, 86 to go. His laps are coming off the board quite quickly.
Yeah, getting closer to that next pit cycle here. Ooh, the 6 gets loose. The 18 almost hits his bumper there and sends him up the track, but they were able to stay off of each other just enough. Andrew Teft saw that happening, jumps to the high line, and he is out of the way now.
LaPratt's still in the 6 machine, still waiting on that GoFundMe to get started up so he can pick up some sponsors, update his paint scheme a little bit as he sits some rides in the 7th position as we're wrecking.
All of that started by the 18 of Jordan Byers.
Byers is claiming responsibility for that one.
Well, you can see, we'll watch it regular speed here first, but you can see the 18 up and down, just sawing on the rear bumper of the 6, and then hooked him and sent him right into the 98.
You know, these bumpers aren't flat. They're, you know, they've got a little bit of a bow into them, so when you're sawing on it, it's just enough to turn them.
That's going to take out Honeycutt, Bundy. Diebold looks like he was able to slow down enough for it. But definitely not something that everybody wanted to see. But on the good news side of it is, if they pit now, they should just have one pit stop left.
I believe we're still going to be short on that. It'll be close.
They could probably save it, because if we're getting 40 laps, 45, 85, they could save a couple laps per run.
Diebold was given an EOL.
was given an EOL?
Yes, he was. Not sure what for, if he was just a little bit off the pace there, or... Oh, yeah, as we look at his front end, that thing is destroyed.
Well, let's see what happened. We got time. You see it going to break off in front of him. 18's going to hook the 6 here. I thought maybe he was slowing down enough to not to avoid the damage, but
Look at that right front.
nope.
No, it's that hit right there to Honeycutt.
And he gets honeycut as Wayne Scott goes by.
Talk about close quarters right there.
Hey, 2 cautions and 106 laps.
So Burdick was our lucky dog in that.
Good.
What do you say we pull Burdick up here and talk to him real quick?
Sure, why not? You can talk to him.
Hello?
Jason Burdick, this is Matthew Moniak up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How's it going?
It's going all right. As we've seen, 2 cautions in, 105 laps. What's your strategy? I see that you just got the lucky dog moving forward.
Well, so yeah, unfortunately early on I got turned when we were pushing hard to catch back up. Had to tow. No caution came out, so I was laps down, two laps down off of the pit cycle, so the cautions kind of came out at the right time where I got a wave around, and then that one just came out at the perfect time before I had to pit for fuel. I was gonna have to pit probably 20 laps before everyone else. So now that I'm back on the lead lap, I got to be a little cautious because my quick fix is gone. But with about 80 or so laps to go, I'm gonna try to stay up high because that seems like the fast lane today. Try to get up into the top 5. Top 5 is money. And then, I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna try not to lose the draft because anything will happen. I bet we'll have like 3 or 4 more cautions. I feel like I don't think people are done wrecking. People know it's go time after that 80 lap green flag run.
That is definitely very true. We wish you nothing but the best, and we're going to get you back down to your team so you can work on your strategy with them.
Thank you so much.
As you guys heard, that was just Jason Burdick in the 23 machine.
Yeah, so he's probably not the only one thinking there's going to be a few more cautions here. You're going to have 80 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, talk about lucky. I mean, that was more than just a lucky dog.
Yeah, it puts him at the back of the field, so he can just kind of hang on to the draft and stay out of trouble. He could be sitting in a pretty good spot come the final few laps here.
So don't look now, but McConey's back in the top 10.
Trying to get stacked back up here. Well, it's the same front. I want to say same front row we started with.
Yeah, a lot of the same names up front. They cycled back through as we watched the pace car drop off the track here.
Bounty down and away. Stayed hooked up there that time with Skinner. Darryl Young in that outside lane doesn't have too much help as Tucker moved to the high side.
Well, that's a big move if Young drops low. Thinking about it. Bounty with the block.
They're blocking like it's the last lap. Bounty all over the track trying to keep that 71 behind him.
Young using the bumper, just trying to let him know that he's there. He doesn't like that.
I mean, I guess I can't blame Bounty because you know the 71's a good pusher. He's been pushing that 73 to the front all night. So, I mean, try and stay in front of him makes your car go a little bit faster.
As we watch Young Jr. drop to the bottom and take over the top spot.
Steve Tucker trying to stay between the 71 and 73, trying to keep them apart, as the 71 is trying everything he can to get the one to stay up in the high line so he can get hooked back up with Brantley Rodden.
Pretty wide, sitting in roughly the 10th position here. Looks like we have Honeycutt.
And now all of a sudden, Kevin West is to the front.
Bounty doesn't have any help. Oh, we see McConey come up.
And McConey's going to give a little help there on that high side. And Jesse Fox jumps up to the high line as well. Haven't heard from Jesse Fox in a while.
I believe that's his first time up here tonight. He's been patient riding at the back for most of the night, and he's up here now.
Kevin West slid up to the high line. Darrell Young still leading the bottom side, trying to get the one of Steve Tucker out from behind him to get back with his buddy there in the 73. Andrew Teff had to check up and go back through the field.
We're watching these guys transition from running the bottom. You know, you'll watch the big line form on the bottom and they'll split, go to the top, and they go right back to the bottom again.
And the 73 said, "I'm done with this crap. Let me get back in front of my buddy, the 71," as he went down to the bottom side, slid up in front of the 71, and they are hooked back up.
McConey's trying to make the middle lane work. Burdick's got a...
I would say McConey went from the bottom to the high side. He said Burdick?
Yeah, Burdick's got front end damage in that restart, so he's losing a couple of spots.
At least with front end damage, if you can get sucked up to the car in front of you, you'll be okay. But if you lose that, you are gonna drop like a rock.
We're currently, yeah, Burdick is dropping.
He might be able to keep the draft of the 18. If he can get close, he can hang on here. Roger Diebold trying to slide up in front of the 18, and he will do just that. You got Richard Old, Josh Pointer, Kirby Wayne Scott, like Truth Hoax in here as well. Andrew Teff trying to make that bottom side work. Has Brandon Sanfilippo behind him.
As we go on to lap 114, we currently have 20 cars on the lead lap, with Rector sitting in the lucky dog position.
Bounty and McCody slide down to the inside, get in front of Brandon Honeycutt.
Tony comes up the side drive. They make contact. Everybody saves it.
Ooh, that could have been bad in a hurry. Like nobody wants to try and work together. They're kind of bouncing all over the place, trying to just better their own position. Honeycutt and Teff now on the bottom side.
Waiting for them to slide up as well.
You know, looks like Honeycutt's able to do so right behind the 5 of William Skinner. Brian LaPratt slides down in front of Skinner. They get a little loose there.
Skinner with the big push.
Bounty McConey hooked up on the bottom side. Michael Prince there as well.
I was actually working on just trying to figure out who was in that 45 machine. Or in the 62 machine.
That's what I was looking for, the 62, and I couldn't find it, so.
Ooh, as we get a little bit of a checkup off of 2, as they manage all to be able to save it.
A little wiggle in there. 98 of Andrew Teff stays up in the high side, try and push by Bounty. And he'll do just that. Goes 3 wide, slides down to the bottom. Gonna take over leading that bottom row. Bounty, McConey, and Prince behind him.
And if I'm Bounty or McConey, I don't know if I would want Teff to be leading this second or this inside line. Teff just got a little bit of a front end damage. It's caved in. We'll see on how much that's going to slow them down.
Well, it didn't slow him down too much as he just ran the fastest lap of the race.
I blame Bounty and McConey.
Yeah, 48.84.
Making a liar out of me. Suppose that's better than the broadcaster's curse. As we work off of turn 4. Roden, Young, Tucker, Teft, and Bounty are your top 5. Top 3's been working with each other for the majority of the night.
I'll say you got the 73, 71 working together fairly well for most of the time. Then you have the 34 of Bounty and McConey that was working well together. I mean, it's like everybody's kind of figuring out who they can work with, and it's been all of them all the time.
We've got 2 packs once again.
They're about 5 seconds back from that lead pack, so see what they can do as we got about 20 laps to the next pit stop.
Back out front, we see most of our lead pack has gone single file.
Looks like they kind of just were trying to flip the script just a little bit, and they will do just that as McConey was leading, and now looks like Kevin West pulled down in front of McConey. So you got Kevin West, McConey, and Honeycutt and Teft on the bottom side. You got Steve Tucker kind of floating in that middle line. Not really going with the high side, but not exactly wanting to go down low either.
Just playing both lines and seeing which one's going to prevail.
Yeah, but that's when you know, calamity usually strikes.
Kevin West pushes up into the second position with McConey right behind him.
Yeah, McConey's had an up and down race, was a lap down at one point. Was able to get that lucky dog, and now is trying to push Kevin West, but it looks like West is not really holding the same line that McConey is as they're sliding up and down. And when you get that saw in action, that's when you see a car get thrown one way or the other.
That's the issue we saw earlier today with Michael Prince turning. I don't remember who he got.
Oh, it was Jordan Byers turning the six machine of Brian LaPratte because he was drafting and then just was sawing on that wheel, and that caused the six to get spun into the field. Just see the way it happens is McConey has to try and let off the throttle just a little bit. You can't let off too much, or otherwise you're going to wind up checking up that whole line, especially when you have Brandon Honeycutt and Prince behind you. Not something you need to have happen here.
So we watched a big move out of McConey to the high side.
We'll see what's McConey all over the back of Jesse Fox. Gonna push it 3 wide, go to the high side.
Tony is there.
Living dangerously up there.
As we see McConey make it up to the 4th position. He's still peeking to the outside of Tucker, letting him know he's there.
He likes that high line. He's staying up there. And if Tucker's going to try and block as they get loose.
Oh.
I'll say, and that still trying to gather it in.
Prince with the big save as well, keeping away from the 5 machine William Skinner.
McConey says, forget this. I'm trying to make some ground here. As Tucker was just running him into the wall.
Lap 124 and tempers are starting to rise.
Yeah, Tucker did not like that at all.
Pull your belts tight because things are going to start getting hairy.
Now the one basically tried to push McConey into the wall, and McConey was having none of it. As McConey's just trying to get a run, and he was trying to take it where he could. So McConey, Tucker, and Honeycutt all together. Bounty behind him with Prince. They have single filed out fairly well. Go back and check on this second pack. Being led by Brandon Sanfilippo. Doesn't look like they're staying very tight together here. As they are losing time to the pack, but they are gaining Andrew Teft as Teft has lost the draft of the lead group.
I know that second pack's really worried about who's leading, and because they're fighting with a lot of damaged cars back there.
Yeah. At some point, you've got to tell the damaged cars just to have their own race and take the good ones and make a run.
waiting for Bounty to catch up to McConey, and I could see McConey going to the bottom side trying to make a run here when Bounty gets on his back bumper.
Yeah, I think if they can get hooked up together, or if McConey sees any daylight on that high side, I bet he pushes high once again.
Tucker still holds the 5th position, which McConey definitely wants.
Back and check on this pack back here once again. Looks like they swapped around some leaders as Ode is leading now with Jordan Byers and Brandon Sanfilippo dropping back a little ways. Trying to figure out who can lead this pack to help them get to the front, because otherwise they are just going to be running out of laps here. Coney down to the inside. He got to run if anybody goes with him.
No help yet. Oh, Bounty's there.
Does. Nobody else, though. Back in line they go. Well, I guess while everybody is single filed out here, we'll take another break, and then we'll be back to finish this after their final round of pit stops. Racers Elite Talladega 500. We'll be back momentarily. welcome back, everybody. You didn't miss anything here as we were side by side. Everybody pretty much single filed out, are getting close to that, what could be the final pit stop of the race. We'll see what happens here as like fuel has been about 40 laps as far as the pit window goes.
They last pitted on lap 105 for majority of the field here, so we're 28, 29 laps on this current tank. So yeah, they really need to stretch this one here a little bit. If they can get 10 to 15 more laps out of it, then just as you're talking about, we should have that money stop.
Like we've got a couple groups here. Jesse Fox at the tail end here, and it looks like William Skinner in that 5 truck has all of a sudden lost the draft. We go back to the next pack, which is led by Richard Ode in that 78. He's up 10 spots, so he's running fairly well, and it looks like they finally might have found a group that's working well together, as that gap was almost 8 seconds. Now it's down to less than 6.5, so they're closing in slowly but surely.
Skinner will have to try to join them here just a moment as they race up on them. As you can see, Skinner coming to the frame.
Yeah, Skinner's going to have to pick the right time to duck in. Probably be best if he went to the high side and then found a spot to be.
Skinner holds the bottom side and forces everybody to try to come down in front of him.
I mean, that's probably the better way to keep the draft, but it's not the better way to make up time.
No, and you don't make any friends doing that.
So McConey and Honeycutt are going to try and get by Tucker again. McConey and Tucker definitely have not made friends, as Kevin West pulls down in front of Honeycutt and slows that line down once again. So McConey jumps up behind Tucker, and they are back at it one more time.
With just a little bit over 50 laps to go, friends are going to be really important until about the last 2 laps. Then it's every man for himself, especially when you're racing for over $150 to win in this race for that top spot. As we see, Young Jr. hits the wall.
Yeah, and Kevin West took evasive action there, thinking that they were going to slow down a lot more than they did. Like he was just able to brush the wall, get back in line. So now West jumps in behind Bounty. So 7 cars in this lead group.
They're all content riding a single file as they start to catch lap traffic.
We say content, and then all of a sudden Brendan Honeycutt gets tired of riding behind Tucker and pulls out. See if McConey's going to stay with Tucker, if he's going to go down. I think he's staying for now.
We just watch Kirby Wainscott go 1 lap down that bottom side as he works to catch the draft of Bounty.
You know, trying to hang on. Looks like he maybe pitted a little bit early.
I think Wainscott had just lost his drafting partner because he last pitted 105. So we see Lloyd going a lap down now.
Honeycutt and McConey, after they lost a little bit of time there dealing with that lap traffic, 73 and 71 are going to be the cars you're going to have to contend with here, as they've been pretty much the dominant drivers all night.
I think McConey and Bounty will have something for them. And Honeycutt. Those three get together, I think they'll be untouchable.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something later in the run here. And the guys in that second pack are trying to figure out how they can make up ground. They keep starting to and then slowly losing it.
Burdick just said a quote that I do like: "We're damaged goods."
Yeah, it's
That's
hard.
one way of describing your car.
I mean, you got to try and do something, but yeah, if you've got too many damaged cars, it definitely changes the way that they cut through the air, so you don't have that smooth drafting that you have with the undamaged cars.
Even as damaged goods, you still have a chance at winning this race. You know, on the lead lap, you just have to be there at the end of it.
We'll see how close we get to making it a one-stop race, as everybody's probably doing the calculations on their pit box here.
Yesterday's truck race, we had what, 5 laps to go before we saw pit stops?
Yeah, I think we had 5 laps to go. Yeah.
We might see that again here. If we have people pit early, or we're just gonna have to stay tuned to find out.
See what's happens here. Looks like Prince, Kevin West, and Jesse Fox all lost the draft of that lead group. Looks like Jesse Fox is the only driver going to the high side to let these guys by, so we can get back in line. It'll be a checkup if they try and stay in line here. We'll see what happens.
Otis catching them. Let's see if he stays with them and lets them lead that second pack, or if he's making a move.
It looks like he's going to stay in line here. The 01 is all over the 45's bumper, trying to push him out. And the gap between the 62 or 45 is under 5 seconds to the back of the leaders here.
And that could be made up on pit road, all on entry and exit. So we can't count out the second pack. So that second pack is running about a half a second quicker than the lead pack.
These guys are staying up here. Kirby Wainscott is the first car a lap down, so he's just hanging out here with the leaders, hoping for something to happen. Bring it back on the lead lap.
It's always entertaining to hear a little bit of race chatter.
Oh. Yeah, talking about cable internet companies like they're gonna care about iRacing. Wow, that
Leaders will be pitting this time.
that gap is disappearing pretty quick. They did lose about half the cars, and they're going faster as they're within 3 seconds now.
It's going to be interesting. Do we see the second group here pit as well? So we've seen Honeycutt, McConey, Bounty all stay out.
That 3-car trio, as long as they're hooked up, they can keep going. They can maintain their speed. You can see the second half coming down. So if they can only make 41, 42 laps, they're going to have to come down with like 3 laps to go, depending on how far they can push this one.
Talk about throwing a kink into your plans. Chasing Burdick caught a black flag on that pit cycle.
Well, his day went from bad to worse. Everybody coming down.
As we see McConey lock him up.
McConey was coming in hot. Honeycutt was just in front of him too, so luckily they stayed off of each other.
Crisis averted.
Right now, Kevin West is kind of leading, but I don't think it'd be too long, as I believe the 73 and 71 have hooked up again, or will hook up momentarily, and we'll try and push by here momentarily.
So Burdick's stop time was 55 seconds. This night's not over. You'll be 1 lap down. You'll still have to fight with Wayne Scott and Lloyd for that lucky dog. As the battle for the lead starts to heat up.
Well, kind of.
Well, actually, I'm sorry.
Honeycutt, Bounty, and McConey are still leading it by 6 seconds. We'll see if that staying out that extra lap is what's going to bring home the win here, as they are driving away right at the moment.
That second pack has roughly 6 to 9 cars. All depends on how quick they can get single file.
Yeah, you got Roden, Young, Ode, Tucker, and West. So those 5 cars are hooked up pretty well. Like Andrew Teft is going to try and go to the inside, try and get to the lead of this next little group of 4. Probably not going to be able to. Probably have to slide in behind the 18 of Jordan Byers and hopefully hang on to that draft.
Just under 40 laps to go.
Another group back here. Oh.
Oh,
Not sure what happened there.
oh, 12 machine.
Brandon Sanfilippo.
He just can't catch a break.
If we can kind of see what happened here real quick. Oh,
Oh,
just into the wall. Andrew Teff behind him. We stayed
Thornton had a good
green,
save
but
there.
ouch.
Yeah, Barney isn't very nice today with the flags.
Well, it depends on where you're at. If you're these top three, he's very, very nice.
That is true.
I mean, Honeycutt, Bounty, and McConey all had the right strategy as they stayed out a little bit longer, made that lap, and have been hooked up ever since. See, they got about a 5-second gap here to this group of 5.
So Brandon Sanfilippo in the 12 machine. Pit stop was 55 seconds. He served a black flag hold after taking his quick repair. So we're going to see him come back out, see if he can try to stay one lap down.
That gap is closing. We'll see how much time they can make up here. If they can stay together, the group of 5 might be a little bit faster than the lead pack here. But at what cost? As those guys also pitted on lap 145.
If you're that second pack, I don't think you really have a choice. You need to try to catch them.
Yeah, you have to get up there as fast as you can or hope for something. And they are closing. They will catch him before the end of the race.
The gap is less than now 3.5 seconds between the first and the second pack.
Now you can see it's closing down with every inch of the racetrack here. It's down inside 2.5 seconds. It's going to be 2 before they hit the backstretch. Get out of the backstretch.
On that last lap, that second pack made up over a second on the leaders. Oh, they're there.
Yeah.
1.5. I'd almost have to question if that lead pack is trying to save just a little bit of fuel for the ending.
Yeah, it doesn't
They're
look,
running 190.
let's say it doesn't look like they're pushing too hard as they go up to the high side. Back down to the bottom. McConey
Big
gets
checkup.
pushed out of line. you back onto the racing surface.
We're seeing speeds down to 175 when they're normally running about 190, 195 in this section of the track.
Everybody trying to figure out what in the world just happened as Ode goes to the front with Tucker, Kevin West back there as well.
Nobody wants to lead. They want to save.
Well, you don't want to be first, especially when it's, you know, not the last lap.
Even on that last lap, I want to be first until we're about 100 feet from that line.
Yeah, last night, the driver who won the race wasn't even first, like, 50 yards from the line.
No, wasn't he P4 coming to that?
Yeah. Yeah, he was P4 basically clear through the quad oval here.
Like they say, it's never over till the fat woman sings. Of course, we're talking about at the opera.
Well, this other pack is closing too. They are on the move. Roger Diebold leading them down.
I know a few laps ago, Diebold was telling Skinner, just keep hitting me no matter what. We have to do something different to try to catch this pack. So they're forcing their hand. This third pack will have, second pack will have to pit. But they're just trying to catch that lead pack and have a little bit of fun here.
Well, McConey went to the high side with Bounty, and now he's up front.
A lot of different strategies taking place right now. Lloyd's currently 2 laps down. As you see, he just got pushed by Ode. He's trying to fight to get to 1 lap down and try to catch a yellow, see if he can work his way back onto being 1 lap down and have a chance.
I was wondering who was leading. I'm like, that has to be a couple laps down. I didn't see, it wasn't Wayne Scott or anybody else.
Yeah, Lloyd's 2 laps down. Well, I believe now 1. Yep. He's now 1 lap down as long as he can keep the leaders behind him. So watch McConey drop.
They're trying to shuffle around to see where they can get to, but with them doing all of that dancing there, Roger Diebold is closing in. He last pitted on lap 147, so it's going to be tight for all of these drivers.
Yeah, one of the last to pit, they were all at 147, with your earliest coming in at 145.
And they are almost all back together now.
And that only spells out one thing. Trouble.
Disaster.
You guessed it.
I mean, this has been a heck of a race. I mean, basically 20 laps to go and 15 drivers have a shot.
Shout out to the entire Racers Elite admin team for putting this thing together. I mean, this has turned out to be one of the better races that I've had the privilege of calling.
Usually when you hear cash race, you're like, oh my God, how many cautions are there going to be? And there really hasn't been any. These guys have been clean and they've been respectful. And even when they do have a little bit of trouble, they've been able to gather it in and keep going in the right direction. Roger Diebold was leading that third pack, and now he is up into P3 now.
Skinner is definitely stuck by his side as they put the 61 machine back to 2 laps down.
Yeah, Diebold's going to have a couple others help him as McConey jumps in line as well. McConey and Bounty there. Skinner's getting a little loose. Not something you want to see in your rear view mirror.
Lloyd drops to the apron. He's tired of this mess. He doesn't want to get caught up in anything.
He doesn't want to be the cause of anything either, which I don't blame him. Diebold goes down to the line. McConey going to slide in behind Skinner.
Oh, it's off the apron. Back on.
Brandon Honeycutt trying to make that high line work. Jumps down behind as they come up on, looks like probably
Rector.
Rector. Okay. I'll say it was either him or San Filippo. Both were similar paint schemes there. .24 to go.
They have a good side-by-side battle between Diebold and LaPrat. LaPrat's going to lead that last lap.
Yeah, LaPrat has Truth Hope giving him a shove. Truth goes clear up to the high line as LaPrat slides down behind or in front of Diebold.
We're still seeing his speeds at roughly 190. So they're saving, just not a lot.
Yeah, Truth Hope running up front here. A few laps down, but he's been relatively quick.
Yeah, he's been able to push a couple guys up there and make a difference and help. As the field's still side by side, we're going to be coming up on the lap traffic of Eric Dodd.
Yeah, everybody's going to have to get skinny as they go 3 wide down the backstretch.
Then right in front of them is the 18 machine of Jordan Beers, which is a little bit further ahead.
Hopefully they get out of the corner before they reach him, which it looks like they will.
Might catch him in the try. As he moves his way high for the rest of the field.
Truth Hope has that Wrangler machine leading the pack, but not the race.
Yeah, I'm sure Kevin West and LaPrat, I don't think that they're complaining right now.
No, I don't know that I would be either. Let Truth lead it. Punch that hole in the air.
That 55 machine does look good out front.
As basically the whole field is now single file.
As we near the end of today's race, top 5 spots are paid out. So our current 5th position is Honeycutt. Yep, your entire lead pack. All single file.
So looking at the lead pack and, you know, where everybody's running, I'm a little, not concerned, but perplexed as to why the 71 and 73 are just kind of hanging out here in the back. They must just be trying to save fuel because you know they're faster than this.
100%. I mean, they last came in on lap 145, as well as the 6th machine of Brian LaPrette, who's currently running in 2nd. I think that they know that they may not have enough fuel to make it to the end. So by dropping to the tail, you know, they may just be trying to save what little bit they can, run 3/4 throttle.
Yeah, especially when you have Diebold, Honeycutt, McConey, Bounty, all up there who last bit on lap 147. They have that couple extra laps of fuel. So we'll see if that's going to be what this whole race comes down to, is that pit strategy call there.
I'm kind of curious on what the pit window looked like on, you know, or the pit stint overall. And how many laps they had in the last couple of cycles.
Looks like about 41, 42 laps is all they did on green flag runs.
Yeah, they're going to be 3 laps short according to my calculations. So we're going to be 17 to go right now.
Should be when you hit the start finish line.
Track temp has dropped all the way down to 85 now.
Oof. Talk about cooling off in a hurry.
Especially at, you know, 5:25 in the afternoon down in Alabama there, where Dega is located.
Andrew Teff trying to make a move here. Was it 03 of Rector with him?
Tough last pit on lap 146, so he's in the same boat. I think he just wants to get up there and have a chance in case there is a caution.
Yeah, if 42 is all you can get, the guys that pitted on lap 47 or 46 are going to be on fumes when they come to the start-finish line.
And this is a big track to try to run that last lap on fumes. So our first car that's last pitted on 147 to be Roger DeBold in the 5th position.
Looking at the cars on track right now, you have Andrew Teff, and then you have a lapper and a lapper, and then you have Kevin West. For a while there was 3 lappers that were in between Andrew Teff and the next car on the lead lap.
Now, don't count Kirby Wainscott out on that high side. He's currently only 1 lap down. He needs to stay ahead of the 18. So that's going to be the race to watch for the lucky dog.
We have Jesse Fox forcing it 3 wide in the middle. Wayne Scott slides behind him. 15 to go. Four cars on the high side.
Kevin West takes back over the top spot as he battles with Teft.
I'll say this is for the race lead. Teft and West, the 2 drivers out in front, Hope and Rector, are laps down.
But they could play spoiler here.
They could play spoiler or they could play helper.
But they're still spoiling for somebody.
They'll just block both lines.
There you go. Everybody gets to save fuel. Still holding a solid 190 down the back stretch here.
Laps to go. Been racing for 2 hours and 36 minutes.
I believe our caution counts at what, 3?
Yeah, 3.
That's impressive.
Yeah, 188 laps right now at Talladega.
Seems like we can't make it through an official through 5 laps without one.
Yeah.
Just goes to a testament to everybody that's in this league, that's running in this event. You know, it takes a lot to sit in that car for all these laps and be patient.
Well, and that's the other thing. When you find a league or money series or what have you, where you don't have very many cautions, it makes you want to do it again. So, you know, these guys might have only had, 25 today. The next time, I'm sure they're going to get more because, a couple drivers go and tell a couple friends, and just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And these guys do have another single event scheduled for August 25th, the Firecracker 400 at Daytona.
I want to try to race in that one. So maybe we'll drag Dave Regal up into the booth, and maybe you and I should do the race.
I tried to talk Dave into joining me today, but he has his kids, so couldn't do it. Jonathan Leach also had his son today, so let me jump in the booth, and luckily Matt was able to join me here.
It's always my privilege to be able to work with you.
Yeah, 250, basically over 250 laps at Talladega the last 2 days for us.
As we're looking 3 wide here, Steve Tucker has had enough, and he's ready to go to the point as he gets a big push by Darrell Young in the 71.
Ruth Hope goes down to the apron, and as I was saying that, the 71-73, who was saving fuel, looked like towards the back of this lead pack. 11 to go, said they've had enough, and they are up to the front. And for a while there, we had some cars up front that were not on the lead lap.
So these guys last pitted, the leaders, lap 145. Either they know now that they don't have enough fuel and they want to gap the rest of the field, or they save just enough and they believe they can make it to the end.
Well, I'm pretty sure that McConey and Honeycutt can make it to the end. They last pitted on lap 147. So we'll see if Tucker and Young have enough to make it to the end, or if they're going to be sputtering when we get the white flag.
Yeah, they're starting to break away just a little bit. So you see the field start to go single file on the high side.
Yeah, McConey was trying to get his nose up underneath the bumper of the 71 to try and get a little bit bigger gap behind him.
McConey can get it to the inside of 71 and a Honeycutt follows, he could side draft and bring Tucker back with them.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen, but you want to wait to do that till you're on that final lap. You don't want to show your cards before then. It's going to be a tough battle here as they go down to the inside. McConey follows. They try and break the draft. But that did not work.
With the way that Young is on Tucker's back bumper throughout this, just pushing through the turns, you know, staying hard on him. It'll be a miracle if Tucker doesn't get turned.
Well, Young is not, I'm going to say Young is not one of the guys to learn a lesson, it looks like, as he is still all over the back of the one after having his hood flip up on him on the first incident of the race. McConey trying to stay with him, whether he goes high, whether he goes low. 8 laps to go here in the Talladega 500.
The gloves are off. It's go time.
Yeah, it almost seems like Young's trying to dare McConey to make that pass because he wants to be in that second group. He doesn't want to be in this lead group.
McConey into the wall. Doesn't lose very much. He's still there. And Young may be trying to cool his car down a little bit too by sticking his nose out there. So when you get to these last 2 laps, you're going to be pegged on temperature.
Yeah, 7 to go. You got Tucker, Young, McConey, Honeycutt, Boundy, and Rodden here. Looks like Kevin West and Skinner's the back of the group here.
Looks like the second pack is slowly starting to catch the leaders. And that second pack is being led by the 38 of Roger DeBold. We're about a 1.5 seconds out now.
Only 6 to go this time by.
Lead pack is now doing 180.
They are sawing on that wheel hard as they're going back and forth across the bumpers. Here goes Roger DeBold, 3 wide on the high side. 71 bounces off the apron, as does the one. McConey trying to find his way through. Roger DeBold to the point.
We're fighting 3 wide pushing. This thing starts to settle down.
Settle down.
They just backed in as 2 lines again. As we see contact.
Honeycutt into the wall. Everybody spreads out, but we stay green. Roger DeBold and Kevin West.
Honeycutt to pit road.
Bouncing off of each other, and that is what happens. Everybody stays good. The one almost spins the 76 of McConey again.
There's beef earlier in the race between the one of Tucker and the 76 of McConey, with Tucker now behind McConey.
Up 73, bounces hard off McConey. McConey not going anywhere, going to stay right there. The one turns the 76.
Oh,
That was 100% intentional.
wow. McConey holds up the brace.
That is
So currently we
insane.
have Honeycutt, McConey, and Richard Ode all have meatballs. They need a pit for repairs. I wouldn't want to be sitting in race control's position right now.
We'll go back here a little ways. 76 right behind the 73, bumping. One goes down inside of 76, tries to turn him. Bounces up the track. 76 keeps the wheel straight right on the white line. Little bump there, maybe. Stays clean. Everybody bumps off of each other, stays clean. And then here comes the 73.
Look like there's maybe a little bit of netcode between 73 and 76 there. But there's no harm, no foul right there. And then
No, everybody's good here. And then all of a sudden the one just slides up and spins the 76.
I'd love to see the in car in the one.
We
See
can
what he's doing with that wheel.
That.
I hate that for Ode, who had nowhere to go and smoked McConey right in the passenger door.
Yeah, it turns up just a little bit. Wow. All I can say, it looked like
Yeah, I'm speechless. So we're looking at basically your top 15, almost all of your top 15 pitted, with the exception of the 10 car of Kirby Wainscott, who fought to get back on the lead lap for this ending here.
I don't even know what to say with that, because looked like they were trying to get the 76 out of the way for quite a little while there.
And obviously there was bad blood from the earlier incidents between the two drivers, and race control's going to have their hands full when they go back to review. For everybody at home, you know, especially in these money races, the ending or the finishing results are never official until it's been posted by race control.
Yeah, I don't envy anybody in that situation there.
So we're going to have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered here. Well, I'm sorry, we have up 2. Hopefully we only have 1. So as they go side by side, we're looking at Kevin West, Sean Bounty, Michael Prince, Roden. Those are going to be your top 4. Daryl Young Jr. sitting in the P5 position. He's been there, you know, running the top 5 majority of the night. Managed to come back from adversity early. See what he can do as we get ready for the pace car to drop off.
Kevin West and Bounty gonna lead him on down.
14 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, you can see that they're 7 rows deep, double filed, and away we go. West gets the run, slides up in front of Bounty.
It's going to be interesting if they review possible lane change on West before the start-finish line there.
That's going to be close.
Roden Young Jr. Both working together on that bottom side. They've been working together all night long. See if they can get it done. So you got DeBold right in 5th place on the inside, pushing as well.
DeBold's trying to do something. 73 is all over the freaking 01. The 71 gets spun after the checkup there. And we are racing back to checkers. West, Fox.
We're not done yet. Looks like we are 4 wide.
Wow. One gets sent up into the wall. And they're spinning around on the bottom.
Brian LaPrat
Brian LaPrat.
doesn't have any competition. He is going to win this race.
Yeah, Brian LaPrat's going to win. Stayed out of trouble. Jesse Fox is going to try and hang on for P2. Not going to, maybe not going to happen. Andrew Teff gets 2. Jesse Fox 3. DeBold 4th. And Run gets 5th.
Wow. I'm in a state of shock. Your unofficial results. LaPrat's your race winner, Andrew Tuft, Jesse Fox, DeBold and Roden your top 5. Richard Ode, Boundy, McConey, Prince, and Skinner's your top 10. Wow.
No, we got to go back here.
We have a lot to go over as we wait on our top 3 finishers here to get into the waiting room.
So here's the 6. We'll just watch his ability to avoid the conflict here. On the restart, 73 goes down below the yellow. 71 tries to slide up in front of Diebold, gets turned. 73 comes back up, goes in front. And look at Brian just makes his way through. And then you'll see the 1 start to get a run here. He's going to slide down, go down almost below the yellow. 6 still hanging on here. Jesse Fox gets a little run. A little bouncing off of Fox there. Roger Diebold with a heck of a save. Jesse Fox goes almost around, and that's going to just leave it all to Brian LaPrat.
That's talk about wreck avoidance. I feel bad for McConey in that. I mean, he had nowhere to go, got tied up on that high side. But then you look at, you know, another big mover through all that was Andrew Tuft in the 98 machine. You know, he hit that apron early, managed to get it checked up, came up safely, and managed to bring home P2.
Well, Andrew has his hands full, so probably aren't going to get too much of an interview there with him as he's jumped up and is talking to race control. But I do know somebody who avoided everything, and I'm going to say is probably going to be the official winner. And I'll let you go ahead and talk to him, and then we'll go from there.
Brian LaPrette, this is Matthew Moniak up in the booth. You got a copy? And no, he doesn't.
Try again.
There you
Brian
are.
LaPrette, this is Matthew Moniak up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
That we can. Talk about a crazy ending to this race.
Oh yeah, it was a good one. I got in an accident in the beginning, dropped back to the back of the field, and just limped around with a damaged car for a while. And I used my last fix it on the last lap or on the last caution. I'm surprised I didn't get in a wreck there at the end. It was pretty wild.
Your wreck avoidance skills were top notch. Unlike for yesterday, we were glad to see you have quite the opposite ending, if you would.
Yeah, yesterday I couldn't hear the mic very well. These cars are a little quieter, and I turned down some of the other audio so I could actually hear. Yesterday I thought he wanted me to follow him up high. It was just a mess after that.
Well, congrats on unofficially winning tonight's race. You're gonna come home, making a decent paycheck from tonight. Do you have who helped you get here? Any sponsors on that all blacked out 6 machine?
No sponsors. I just watched Captain kill him, and he got me into doing the iRacing, and just started doing this. It was a real fun race, and thank you for guys for putting it on, and it was a good time.
Yeah, not a problem. Go enjoy your celebration with your team as you wait official word.
All right, thank you.
So we're gonna have to probably wait for a few minutes here while we wait to hear from race control on the rest of the top 5, honestly.
Yeah, I know it's going to be probably a little bit here to see what the official word is. But while we're waiting, let's see.
Who wasn't involved?
Almost everybody.
Might have to drag that buff.
Let's see if we can get Jesse up here. Haven't talked to him in a while. Hey, Jesse, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going? You there, Jesse? Maybe not.
Sounds like Jesse is not available for comment at this point in time.
Oh, there he is. You must have had to get stand up or something after that long race and all the action on the final laps.
I think Jesse may be trying to get either some issues worked out or get some fluids in him after that race.
Well, I guess we won't be talking to him. Let's see. Say we talked to Andrew, but he's still busy with race control. Well, I guess we'll just go over the unofficial results. And then we'll see if anything changes while we do that. Let's see here. So right now, unofficial results are going to be Brian LaPrette with the win, Andrew Teft, Jesse Fox, Roger Diebold, and Brantley Rudden round out that top 5. You got Richard Ode, Sean Bounty, Greg McConey, Michael Prince, William Skinner inside the top 10, Steve Tucker, Kirby Wainscott, Kevin West, Daryl Young, Jordan Byers, Brandon Sanfilippo, Nash Pointer, Rowan Lloyd. Round out the top 18. We got Truth Hoke, Justin Rector, Jason Burdick, Eric Dodd, Brandon Honeycutt, Joey Smith, and Patrick Swisshelm are the drivers who took part tonight. But with that being said, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Or they'll post the final results in the Discord for the drivers who were able to bring home some money tonight. I know they do give away a couple random positions as well. Anything you want to say before we close it out here, Matt?
We had an exciting finish yesterday, and we had another one today. This is what Dega brings, especially when you toss in a little bit of money. It's I feel bad for race control to have to sit and try to figure everything out, but one heck of a race overall. It was a fantastic race to watch.
Yeah, it definitely was. These guys put on a show. I mean, for basically only having 3 cautions for 180 laps with money on the line, these guys showed patience and respect to everybody up until the last few laps there. But with that being said, I guess we'll go ahead and close it out here. From all the drivers who took part here in the Talladega 500 and all the drivers of the Racers Elite Series, all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we'll see you next time.